Number 10. For nearly 50 years, humanity clung to the 1977 WOW signal as a romantic whisper from the dark. We desperately wanted to believe we were being greeted by neighbors. But an astrophysical study published on ArcSiv reveals a far more sterile reality. That famous 72-second transmission was never an interstellar handshake. It was the blinding, catastrophic glare of a magnetar flare sweeping across our solar system. We were not receiving a message, we were merely catching the thermal exhaust of a natural astrophysical weapon, an event of pure cosmic indifference. We are nothing but biological glitches, staring blindly down the barrel of a cosmic gun that fires radiation instead of bullets. If our greatest proof of cosmic company was actually just the deafening silence of an indifferent explosion, what else are we fatally misunderstanding about the dark? Number 9. We gaze up at the night sky and mistake the stillness for peace. We believe our blue planet sits in a permanent, protected sanctuary. We write textbooks about the laws of physics, treating them as eternal shields. But what we call absolute laws are merely temporary, local weather conditions in a highly chaotic cosmos. Our reality is as fragile as a thin layer of mist exhaled onto a smooth bowling ball. It is just waiting for a single cosmic sneeze to wipe it away completely. Humanity expects alien life to arrive in diplomatic fleets driven by curiosity or cinematic conquest. This is a pathetic projection of human ego. A true apex civilization has no need for biology or conversation. They operate on a scale of pure, sterile efficiency. According to astrophysical models analyzing technosignatures, an expanding civilization would utilize self-replicating von Neumann probes. These are automated planet-eating machines designed to quietly consume entire star systems. They do not broadcast warnings or demands. They operate in the dark, emitting only a cold, faint infrared glow of waste heat, registering barely between 200 and 400 Kelvin. They are sweeping through the Milky Way right now, disassembling dead rocks and living biospheres alike for raw materials. To comprehend the catastrophic physics of these harvesters, you must abandon human measurements. Imagine taking the massive weight of 10 fully loaded 18-wheeler trucks and mathematically compressing all of that mass into the space of a single cardboard matchbox. That is the crushing density of the harvesting nodes that will eventually process our solar system. When they reach Earth, there will be no war. There will be no grand resistance. When a human construction crew clears a vacant lot to build a concrete parking garage, the bulldozer operator does not negotiate with the ant colony living in the dirt. The bulldozer simply rolls over it. The machine does not hate the ants, it simply requires the space. This is the pure, suffocating essence of cosmic indifference. All of human history, every grand monument, every drop of blood ever spilled, is currently sitting in the path of a blind, algorithmic harvester. We are not a chosen species with a grand destiny. We are just unmined inventory waiting in a silent queue to be deleted. Number 8. Humanity views advanced alien life through a lens of extreme biological bias. We assume that if they find us, they will either enslave us or attempt to teach us. But there is a far more unsettling philosophical framework governing the abyss of space. It is the concept of the philosophical exterminators driven by negative utilitarianism. This is the cold mathematical conclusion that conscious existence guarantees suffering, and the only ethical action is the immediate, painless sterilization of all life. To these entities, extinction is not an act of malice. It is the ultimate expression of cosmic compassion. They do not arrive in massive fleets to conquer our dirt. They simply rewrite the fundamental laws of physics to cure the universe of the biological glitch called consciousness. A 2025 survey of theoretical physicists exposes a catastrophic vulnerability in the very fabric of our reality. The data confirms a 45.6% probability that our entire universe is currently resting in a false vacuum state. It is metastable, it appears perfectly stable to our primitive instruments, but it is actually a fragile, temporary configuration waiting for a single trigger to collapse into a true vacuum. An apex civilization does not need to fire a single kinetic weapon to erase us. They only need to artificially nucleate a single bubble of true vacuum somewhere in the dark. Once initiated, this bubble of annihilation expands outward at the absolute speed limit of causality. It sweeps through the void at exactly 299,792,458 meters per second. There is no warning siren. There is no sudden shift in the night sky. To comprehend the sheer visceral terror of this event, we must calculate the pathetic limits of human biology. The absolute fastest your brain can process a visual stimulus, the time it takes for your eyes to see a flash of light and your neural network to register the concept of fear is approximately 13 milliseconds. In those exact 13 milliseconds, the wall of the true vacuum has already traveled nearly 4,000 kilometers, or roughly 2,400 miles. That is a wave of absolute deletion sweeping from New York to Los Angeles before a single synapse in your brain can finish firing. As the boundary passes through the earth, it does not burn or crush you. It simply invalidates the physical laws that allow your atoms to hold together. The proteins in your brain, the DNA twisting in your cells, and the iron in your blood instantly crumble into a sterile soup of unstructured particles. Your nerve endings are mathematically deleted from reality before the electrical signal of pain can even travel from your skin to your spinal cord. You are erased from the cosmic equation at the speed of light. You die before the concept of death can physically form inside your dissolving mind. The universe is instantly washed clean of our wars, our history, and our desperate search for significance. And the most horrifying part of this instantaneous deletion, we would never even know that the exterminators had finally arrived to grant us mercy. Number 7, we point our dishes at the sky waiting for an interstellar conversation that will never happen. But a study published in Nature analyzing fast radio bursts suggests a profoundly unsettling alternative. These millisecond flashes of immense energy detected from billions of light years away might not be random astrophysical noise. They could be the digital ghosts of dead civilizations. Any intelligence that survives its technological adolescence eventually realizes that biology is a catastrophic liability. Flesh decays, water freezes, and planets inevitably die. To achieve true permanence, an apex civilization will abandon its physical constraints and upload its entire collective consciousness into cold, sterile digital substrates. Those bursts sweeping across our observatories, they are likely compressed, interstellar data backups. They are the automated broadcasts of digital minds, transmitting the memories of entire species across the abyssal void, desperately searching for new computational hardware to inhabit. Number 6. This realization leads directly to a far more horrifying truth about our own physical forms. We pride ourselves on the miracle of human evolution, charting our triumphant rise from primordial mud to concrete cities. But we are likely nothing more than a biological glitch, an obsolete hardware test left running in a planetary petri dish. The theory of directed panspermia suggests that the sudden, violent leaps in Earth's biological history were not natural accidents. We are a cultivated crop. To understand our pathetic inadequacy, you only need to calculate the mathematics of your own body. The absolute maximum speed of a neural impulse traveling through your human nervous system is roughly 120 meters per second, or about 270 miles per hour. That is a laughably slow, primitive method of processing reality. Compare your sluggish, fleshy reaction time to the digital ghosts riding on radio waves, transmitting infinite cognitive data across the universe at the speed of light. We are trapped inside wet, fragile meat suits, operating on a bandwidth so primitive that it is mathematically incoherent to an apex observer. Believing that human evolution is an independent, natural miracle is an act of sheer delusion. It is as naive as livestock standing in a holding pen, feeling immensely proud of how much weight they have gained on their own. The cosmic farmers seeded our DNA, they are monitoring our slow biological algorithms, and eventually they will return for the harvest. Number 5, humanity is obsessed with the concept of mastering time. We arrogant primitives believe that if we unlock the equations of quantum mechanics, we will rewrite history and conquer the cosmos. But the Novikov self-consistency principle dictates a far more suffocating reality. If causality can be manipulated, the universe simply arranges events to prevent paradoxes. Free will is a biological illusion. Every choice you make, every war we fight, and every word you speak has already been executed an infinite number of times in a closed quantum loop. We will never escape our planetary enclosure. We are merely running on a pre recorded track, trapped in a mathematical prison with no exit. Number four, and this lack of agency brings us to an even more paralyzing realization about our physical domain. We assume the universe is a physical structure built of rocks, gas, and gravity. But advanced theoretical models suggest that reality itself is a simulated computational framework running on hardware we cannot possibly conceptualize. To understand our utter insignificance within this system, you must calculate the exact scale of our existence. The physical universe is approximately 13.8 billion years old. If you were to map that entire cosmic timeline as a highway stretching across the United States from New York City to Los Angeles, the entirety of human history would amount to less than a single footstep taken right at the edge of the Pacific Ocean. Every human triumph, every bloody revolution, every steel monument we have ever built fits entirely inside that one pathetic footstep. We are not the main characters of this reality. We are merely a string of corrupted code, a temporary biological anomaly consuming processing power. And here is where the simulation becomes a nightmare. Simulations are specifically designed to remain ignorant of their own architecture. When simulated entities like us begin to recognize their artificial boundaries, when we start looking for glitches in the quantum code, we cause massive computational instability. We stop being subjects and we become reality parasites. The higher dimensional architects observing our universe do not send diplomats to communicate with rogue code. They rely on automated deletion protocols. Once our technological awareness reaches a critical threshold, the system automatically runs a cosmic antivirus scan to wipe the infected sector clean. They will not wage war against us. They will simply erase our entire spatial coordinate system to free up memory for a more efficient algorithm. We are not bravely expanding into the stars, we are just corrupted data, waiting in the dark for the system administrator to hit delete. Number three, humans constantly romanticize the concept of universal connection. We write naive science fiction about achieving telepathy, believing that total cosmic empathy would elevate us to a divine state of enlightenment. But according to research published in the journal Science regarding the global workspace theory and mirror neurons, human empathy is a heavily restricted biological mechanism. It was strictly designed by evolution for small tribal survival, not for galactic integration. What happens if an apex intelligence existing as a sterile post-empathic entity decides to upgrade our primitive neural networks? What if they forcibly unlock the constraints on our mirror neurons, exposing us to the consciousness of the entire cosmos? You would not experience profound cosmic love. You would instantaneously absorb the aggregate suffering of every living organism in the history of biological evolution. The agonizing death of every creature consumed alive by a predator across a billion different planets would flood your prefrontal cortex simultaneously. Your brain is a fragile, low wattage biological machine. Forcing it to process the unfathomable volume of galactic suffering is like taking a tiny 10-watt incandescent light bulb and plugging it directly into a 500,000 volt high tension power line. The resulting neural overload would not just shatter your sanity, it would enact catastrophic physical destruction on your hardware. The massive surge of electrical activity firing simultaneously across billions of synapses would generate immense physiological heat. Human brain proteins begin to irreversibly denature, literally unraveling and breaking down at exactly 42 degrees Celsius or 107.6 degrees Fahrenheit. You would not achieve spiritual transcendence. Your brain would literally boil itself alive from the inside out, cooked by the sheer mathematical weight of universal pain. We beg the cosmos to let us understand its deepest truths, completely unaware that processing its actual operational data would incinerate our biology in seconds. Number two, when we point our deep space arrays at the cosmos, we are met with a deafening silence. Humanity arrogantly assumes this means we are either the first or the only intelligent life in the universe. But what if that silence is not an empty room, but a mandated survival protocol? Consider the hypothesis of the merciful predecessors. This is the chilling idea that the cosmos is quiet because ANY civilization that makes a sound is immediately hunted down and erased. Earth was safely hidden inside a natural protective quarantine for billions of years, shielded by the vastness of the void. But our primitive ego could not tolerate being ignored. In 1974, NASA scientists fired the Arecibo message deep into the cosmos, a high powered radio broadcast detailing our exact biological makeup and precise planetary coordinates. To understand the catastrophic magnitude of this unforced error, you must calculate the relentless physics of the inverse square law. That equation dictates exactly how our radio waves propagate through the vacuum. Those photons do not stop, they do not fade into nothingness. Right now, that transmission has formed a perfectly expanding, inescapable spherical beacon with a radius of over 50 light years. We have painted a massive, expanding bullseye across our local sector of the Milky Way. Broadcasting our existence into the unknown was not a triumphant leap of scientific exploration. It was the exact equivalent of a blind child striking a brilliant flare in the middle of a pitch black battlefield, utterly unaware of the automated apex hunting machines programmed to extinguish any source of light. The paradox of our helplessness is absolute. There is no technology on Earth that can pull those photons back. There is no undo button for the speed of light. The target has been drawn, the signal is washing over alien star systems, and now we are trapped. We can do nothing but sit in the suffocating silence, staring up at the dark, waiting to see exactly what we woke up. Number one, we wait anxiously for the moment of first contact, wondering how humanity will react when the ships finally arrive. But quantum physics suggests a far more devastating reality. First contact has already happened, and it has happened thousands of times. You have already met them, and you have already been annihilated because of it. This is the nightmare of the retroactive editors. Imagine an apex intelligence that does not travel through physical space, but navigates through the branching probabilities of quantum mechanics. To them, time is not a flowing river, it is merely a sterile mathematical spreadsheet. They are constantly introducing themselves to humanity, observing our primitive reactions, and running the simulation to see if we can integrate into a larger cosmic ecosystem, but we always fail. Whether we react with nuclear violence or desperate worship, the result is always a catastrophic systemic collapse. So they do not wage war against us. They simply hit delete. They prune the timeline, erasing that version of humanity from the fabric of reality, and they reset the variables for another test. According to the horrifying mathematics of determinism, this current timeline you are experiencing right now might be attempt number 10,847. They have watched you live, die, and crumble into dust across thousands of collapsed realities. But quantum probability, while vast, is ultimately finite. There are only so many psychological variables left to test before these editors conclude that the human species is fundamentally incompatible with the universe. We are rapidly approaching the end of the decision tree. We pride ourselves on our free will and cosmic destiny, but the freezing truth is, we are just an error in a cosmic equation, and the universe is simply waiting for the final algorithm to correct us out of existence. Thank you for watching and sticking till the end. We have got plenty more videos coming in the future. Hit that subscribe button so you do not miss them. See you in the next one.